Thank you, Stanley, or Stanley. I'm not quite sure how she says that, but anyway, I appreciate you letting me visit your blog today. I'm trying something new. I'm doing a vlog, I guess they are. And so anyway, I am going to talk about the Becketts because my Beckett series had the 5th book come out today. It's April 1st, but I'll be on the blog on the 3rd. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the background, and it started out being called just one book called The Bridge, and that was Tyler Beckett's story, and he met Kiara, his love interest. And anyway, it started out with, and I'm not going to tell you why it was a bridge because that's a spoiler, but that's how it started out. And then as I grew the backstory, because I always start with a backstory, it turned out that he had 5 brothers and sisters, which is he's the oldest, and then Christine, and then Matt, and then Jessica, and then the twins. The twins are Reagan and Glenna. And they are called the California twins only because they both lived in California for a while. Glenna still lives there, but Reagan moved back in her story. So anyway, I'm going to talk about the first one, which is Disappear. And as I grew their story, I love New York, and it started out with that he's a federal agent, and he's based in New York, and he grew up in Brooklyn, and so I have a son who's in Brooklyn, and so we've been visiting New York for quite a while, actually before I moved there, and I just fell in love with New York, and I love New York. I've have a couple other stories based in New York, but this series is based in New York and Brooklyn, so they kind of go back and forth, and then there, it kind of involves it brings everything in. So there's a few scenes in California. Last but not least will be in California because Glenna lives in Calistoga, one of my other favorite places because my sister-in-law lives there. So we go visit, and I love wine. So look at this. I have a wine shirt on. So there you go. I love wine. I love Calistoga, and she has a vintage shop there for antiques. And so that's the last book. So back to Disappear. So I started it, and as I was growing it, I fell in love with all the characters, and I thought, okay, so I'm going to do 3 books. And so I'm going to do Disappear, Innocent, and Quiet. And then what happens? I get Quiet done, and everybody's, well, what's going on with Matt? Well, what's going on with so-and-so? Well, what's going on? So, of course, I have to finish the rest. So I've got one more to go, and that's Glenna's. Maybe somewhere down the road, I may do I'm really thinking of it. Probably will happen at some point. I'm going to do a Christmas story with the elders and all 6 of the siblings. You ask, who's the elders? Okay, so again, while I was developing this story, their parents, apparently all the kids call them the elders. Christine, I think, is the one that started that, but they have Martha and Fred are the elders, and they all call them that. So anyway, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Disappear. Tyler was undercover, and his cover got blown by a mob boss. And so he had to kind of go away out of the picture so that they didn't catch him. And the killer is called the Bat. And anyway, no one has ever seen him until poor Kiara happens to be in the wrong place at the right place at the wrong time to actually see him kill one of his victims. He stalked his victim, killed him in an alley, which was in the financial district in New York. And of course, no one's ever there at night because they're all, gone home. And she was taking something or getting something from her office late at night when nobody was there. And of course, she happens to witness him. So she's the only person who has ever actually seen his his face. So of course now her life is in danger. And so Tyler, because he has to kind of disappear and lay low for a while, is assigned to take her to a safe house. And one thing leads to another, and I really don't want to, do any spoilers, but of course it's a romantic suspense, so they kind of hit it off. At first they don't. At first it's like oil and water, and she doesn't like him, but he wears her down. And then she witnesses him being shot, and she thinks he's dead. So she's going to disappear, which is where I got that from, and see if she can go undercover on her own, because of course she's not an officer, and see if she can find his killer. And that's all I'm going to tell you about it. Again, thank you very much for letting me visit your blog, Stanley. And I'm going to talk about Innocent, the next book in the series, book 2, on Marie Higgins, author Marie Higgins' blog, next week. And then the week after that, I'm going to talk about Quiet on author Judy Baker's blog. And there will be links on this blog for all of this. And then the last week, I am actually going to talk about, well, let me show you first. Here's Innocent. This is book 2. And then Quiet, and that will be on Marie Higgins. And you can tell this isn't practiced or anything beforehand. And then this is Quiet, and this will be on author Judy Baker's. And then these were supposed to be standalones, but for some reason, Illusion ended up finishing up in Prophet. I didn't mean to do that, but that's the way it happened. So Illusion, which is Utopia, Utopia at the beginning, and then Prophet, which is Utopia, the conclusion, and I just realized they're backwards on here, but I don't know how to correct that. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about those the 4th week on my blog. And thank you again, and I will see you next week at author Marie Higgins.